He is a friend of the show on the radio and also making a return visit on the podcast. Christian artist, country Christian artist, I guess, or just musician, singer songwriter Zach Williams. And Zach, good to see you today, my friend.
Thanks, man. It's good to be here.
Now, Zach, the first single released on country, did you have any anticipation that it was going to get the following and the feedback that you got? Well, you had to have a little idea working with Dolly,
I
right?
was about to say, if anything was going to help, it was going to be Dolly Parton. So I really didn't know how the song would go, but we were pleased to see how well country music, embraced it, and it was just great to have a song on country radio. I grew up listening to country radio, and I've always loved it. And so for me to be able to have music, in Christian genre and country, I mean, it was great. Yeah.
So now, obviously, faith is huge in your life and the ministry of the music that you have as well. And how cool is it to be able to share that faith that so many folks need, especially right now?
I mean, I think anytime you have a song that can reach an audience that you typically wouldn't reach, it's always it's a plus. It's a blessing for me. And I think, There Was Jesus, just the message behind that song couldn't have been any more perfect for 2020. I mean, for me, when I wrote it, I was looking back on the last years of my life, and I think the message in the song, people will look back on 2020, years down the road and say, hey, maybe we didn't see it in that moment, but God was doing something there, and I believe that. And so I think anytime you get a chance to share that message with it, it's great.
And the new single, Chainbreaker, I've known this one for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Folks have this one kind of brought you on the scene. And man alive, how cool is it to bring this to a whole new audience now?
I think that's awesome. I mean, it's to be able to see this song have a new life, for people that have maybe never heard the song to get a chance to hear it now. I mean, I remember when I recorded it, as a new Christian artist and thinking, this song sounds too country for Christian music, and then Christian music embraced it in such a big way, Now I hope that, obviously I think there's a lot of fans out there in country music that listen to Christian music as well. I know for myself, I switch back and forth all the time listening to music, and so yeah, I'm just excited to see how it's going to respond and how people are going to connect to it.
And Zach, for those that don't know the song, don't know the backstory, tell us, let our listen. I know it, but I can't assume everybody listening does.
Well, I mean, about I would say now it's been about 8 years ago. Me and my wife were going to a church in our hometown in Jonesboro, Arkansas, and my wife got involved in a prison ministry, and she had gone on several of these prison trips, and she had kind of shared her story of just kind of what God had done in our life with these women at a prison. And I remember her coming home one night from one of these trips, and she told me, she was like, you've got to go the next chance you get, take your guitar, play some of these songs, share your story. And I kind of was like, no, that's really not my thing. And she went ahead and she signed me up anyway. And so I went ahead and went, and what I experienced that day was something I'd never been a part of, never experienced in my life. And so fast forward to about a year and a half later, I'm in Nashville. I've been writing songs all week, and I sat down in a room with a couple of people, and I just was kind of sharing that story of like what I saw God do when we started playing these songs in the prison and sharing our story. And Chainbreaker was just thrown out as a title, and the idea of, that God can do anything was just kind of the idea behind that song. Let's just talk about the truths of who he is. And for me, the prison ministry was a very big part of, the background story of that song. And so, and then I got a chance, a few years later to go into a prison and record a record. And I mean, it's been really cool to see that song and the doors that it's opened, for the last 4.5 years.
Now for you, looking forward to 2021, how has 2020 changed the goal setting moving forward?
Oh, I think 2020 has been one of those years where we'll take whatever we can get in 21, Yeah, you kind of step back and assess a lot of things, and you put things into perspective when you realize how quickly it can be taken away from you. And we were fortunate enough this year to be able to go out and do about 30 of these drive-in theater dates, and that was really a blessing for us. For me, just seeing that kind of saved our year, and it was just another one of those things where you just put your faith and trust in God and let him do what he's always done. And and so I'm just doing the same thing for 21. I'm trusting that he's going to provide a way and for us to be back out with fans and playing some music. And hopefully all this will get over soon, or at least we'll figure out how to live with it and we can just move on with life.
Well, I asked about everybody where they have played in during 2020 if they've had the chance to play, but and now I've changed my idea. What has been the most bizarre opportunity you've had to play in 2020?
I Oh my goodness. Honestly, I would say that the drive-ins to me seemed like I couldn't wrap my head around that at first because I didn't understand how any of it worked. I grew up in a little town in Arkansas, and we have in theater, or at least the remains of a drive-in theater. And I remember as a kid thinking that would have been really cool to go watch movies there. And then you show up at these places, and they're in the middle of nowhere, and you have no backstage, you have no dressing rooms. I mean, you're living on your bus every day, ordering food from some little restaurant in town, because they're just not set up to do that. But I would say there were some pretty cool places though that we got to go and do that, and it all worked out. When people came, and the thing is I think people are just ready for music. They're ready to get back out and start going to live shows again.
Now, how has your songwriting gone this year? Has it gone darker? Has it maybe been has it maybe inspired a little bit more light to your music?
No, well, I wouldn't say that. I didn't honestly. I didn't write just a whole lot this year. When we came off the road, we were really careful about not doing anything for a while. I had a couple of those Zoom writes, and those are always weird. Unless you're writing with somebody that you really know, that can be awkward. I did do some writing. I wrote with some country artists this year just to see what could happen with that, and then we ended up going down to Muscle Shoals and re-recorded a Christmas album. And then after much thought and trying to decide what's the best thing to do, we just decided to hold on to the entire record this year and wait to release it next year. So we put out a single. I actually have 2 more songs to go down and finish up in February. But I'm gonna start writing for a third record in January, and I kind of always myself to write 30 or 40 songs, and then hopefully out of that there'll be 10 or 12 good ones that we can put on a record. But yeah, I have a feeling I'm gonna get busy in January and February writing a bunch of new music.
Now, in the writing process, what's your Achilles heel in the writing process?
Oh, 𝐂𝐍𝐶. I guess for me, it's like the up tempo songs. Like I can sit down and write a love song or a sad song or a slow song all day long. It's finding that one that feels like it belongs on radio. There's never enough of those, stomp your feet and clap your hand type songs. And so I think for me, that's something I'm always trying to work to get better at. But I just love the writing process. I love, writing from a new season and kind of where you're at. I think this year writing out of just seeing God's faithfulness in my life and seeing what He's done, I think that'll be a cool way to start 21. Is to start writing from kind of that perspective on things.
And one of my go-to questions I love to ask, and I've probably asked this of you before. What is
Yeah.
what is the biggest thing that you learned about Zach this year?
Oh my gosh, that I could homeschool if I had to. I guess my wife, she does all the homeschool stuff here, but there's been a few days that I've had to sit down and remember how to do some fractions and things like that, and stuff that I've never used in my life since 5th grade. But yeah, I guess that, and just that if I have to be, I'm all right with taking a break and stepping back for a little while, even though I'm not wired that way. My thing is to be on the go 24/7. It's been really nice to be home with the family and connect. But if 21 is gonna go anywhere the way it looks, I think I'm gonna be on the road most of the year next year.
And that's a good thing. That's a good
It
thing.
is, yeah, yeah.
Well, Zach, if folks want to find out more, not only about the single, about all the music you got out there, the upcoming tour dates, what 2021 has in store, where's the
Yeah.
best way?
You can go to zachwilliamsmusic.com, and there'll be a link to all my socials, all of the digital formats for music, anywhere you want to buy t-shirts, merch, any of that stuff. You can check it all out right there and find me there.
All right. Well, Zach, it's always great to visit with you, my friend.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas, and hopefully we can fit in a catch up sometime in that busy 2021.
I heard that. Well, thank you, man. Y'all have a good one.
Zach, always good to visit with you, man.
You too.